Okay, well, let's do this. As we leave the house, and it is cold, so we're going to take you on a walk. We're in Kelso in Scotland, and we're going to go for a walk down by the riverside. And on this episode, you'll hear some background noise. So I'm just walking close to a road, and as we get closer to the river, it'll be much quieter and we'll have more nature sounds, which is good. So yeah, this is my first podcast I've ever done, and what I wanted to do was really share a bit more about my journey and just talk about some of the ways in which I've been able to, the tools and techniques I've been able to use to help create every day, and to do it in a sustainable way, and also overcome the journey, this never-ending journey of perfection, both seeking it and overcoming it. And so just to explain a bit about my background, 4 years ago I began writing songs during the day. I'd start writing songs at weekends, and then into each morning I would, just before my day job starts, I would start doing a new song. And that was really exciting because I began starting to meditate 4 years ago, and every day then create a song every day after that. And so since then I've been able to create over 1,500 songs in the last 4 years or so, and I've been able to release as part of that, as part of those songs, 87 albums. In fact, my 88th is just being released as we speak. So yeah, it's for me it's a really exciting journey, and it's not a journey that I expected to unfold the way it has. And so what I want to do is talk first of all about my creation process. So stepping into that in a bit more detail, the way that it works for me is that I first of all meditate each morning. So I have my own practice. I'll make sure and provide links to that. You can see that through links in this episode. And you can hear the rivers really loud in the background, so hopefully it doesn't put you off too much, but it's quite a beautiful sound. And as I walk away from the weir, it'll get better. So yeah, I meditate each morning, and this is after I go for a run. So I go out for a run out in nature, I come back and I meditate, and as part of that I ground into planet Earth. I connect up to the highest aspects of this universe, up into source or God, or whatever your belief is, and then after that I connect into really this kind of healing vibration that I send out around, myself, my home, my loved ones, my family, every aspect of the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe. And I do this to help raise the vibrations of the planet, and every living thing. So there's that. And then I also spend time just asking my guides, my higher self, the source of the universe, for messages for my songs. And I find that really enjoyable because every day is just a complete surprise. And when I ask that question, I really feel like I'm stepping into this kind of empty void. It's like there is no right answer. There's only silence, and in that void I'm able to say, look, to myself, just listen, just feel through it. And then what I receive are I describe them as a mix of feelings, visualizations, and words, all kind of mixed together. So more than, a bit like a song is more than its words, and just like a song is more than its individual notes, and the feeling and the energy that comes through it. I feel that I receive in all these dimensions at once, and it's a really beautiful experience, because what I feel is that I'm surrendering to the universe. Now I'm setting the intention that I'm really only accepting, the highest vibrations. So I say out loud, guides, higher self and source, please give me what messages you have for me today, for the highest good, love and compassion. And so I'm setting that intention of those energies, and that's really beautiful, because doing that is so important to help both align your intention and to help protect yourself against perhaps lower intentions or vibrations. And then the other thing I enjoy doing is just listening to that message that comes through, and it's just different every day. And sometimes it's a continuation on of feelings and thoughts I've had from previous days, and then other days it is really just part of something completely new for me. And I often feel like my biggest step forwards are when I completely surrender. I have no expectation around the receipt of the message. So that's my process. I then go and I think I write a song based on that, really. So I just listen to that message. I kind of resonate with it a bit, so I go away and have my breakfast. I come back to it. My music equipment is all set up and ready, and that's a really big thing. I'll come on to that shortly. But the other thing for me is just to journal it. So what I do is, I never write things down, but what I do is I just go ahead and record a short 1-minute video. And so as part of that, like I do like a 1-minute short on or reel on Instagram or YouTube. And what I find great about that 1-minute time limit is it really helps focus my message, and I have very few words to kind of focus on. And so once I've done that, recorded that, I feel like it brings it through into this reality. And that's one way of doing it. When you receive a message, when you receive something that really helps you, helps inspire some music, then the next thing to do is just bring it into this reality. So say it out loud, write it down, think it through a few times, or you might be drawing it, or moving or dancing, or really just resonating with its energy. And that's a really beautiful experience to go through, is really kind of capturing and bringing it into this reality, not just the other dimensions that you've received it from. So I'm not saying that you have to meditate every day. I would highly recommend it, of course. It's made a big difference to my life. I find it very calming. It really helps me get through my day. And I also have begun meditating just before bedtime with my 12-year-old son, and I find that amazing for deeper sleeps and really setting myself up for great rest. But you don't need to meditate to receive inspiration, and so other people receive in different ways, and I also receive inspiration through so many different things. I feel at the source of the way that we can imagine inspiration is that inspiration comes from energy, and energy, I feel this whole universe is energetic first, and then it's matter. And so when you think of energy, it can travel through anything. It resonates through any object, through any other energy. It interacts with other energy, and it's able to go on and on, like it never ends. Energy is never destroyed, it's just transmuted, it's just changed into different energy. And so I feel that when we go through this lifetime and we're able to really explore the different emotions. You know, each experience for us has a different way of, each experience is very magical because it allows us to have a feeling, and when we have those feelings, we can think about bringing them into this reality. You know, what is my reaction to that feeling, and whether it's beauty or sadness or happiness. And there's really no limit to feelings. There's really no limit to the interactions you can have in your life and the adventures you go on. So yeah, I feel that's a really, really magical aspect of creativity, is that when you think about the infinity of emotions, the infinity and the variations and experiences in our lives, then it's very easy to believe that the songs, the art, the dance, the poems, the music, the stories, anything that's created from it, anything artistic, is able to also be infinite. It took me about 1,000 songs before I realized that, that actually, yeah, this is infinite. This just goes on and on. There is no end to the variation, to the creation. Yeah, so in my routine, a big thing for me is to be able to factor it into my daily lifetime. So I have a full-time job, I'm a father of 2, I'm married, and I spend a lot of time doing many other things in my life, from chores to just working through my day job, to I have hobbies like we have a motorhome, so we go on a lot of weekend adventures. We have a holiday house in the Scottish borders, and also we live just on the east coast of Scotland in our home. So we love travelling, and we do a lot of different things. We're just approaching the road briefly, so hopefully this noise isn't too distracting. And so I do have a small studio at home. I set that up over a period of time, and it took me a while to build it. And I also have a small mobile recording studio, so I take that with me whenever I'm traveling, whether it's in the motorhome or to our holiday house. And I also have, a couple of guitars, and it's not about, so for me, what I'm wanting to share here is that it's not about owning lots of things. It's being able to figure out what you really want out of your life, the time and energy that you have each day. Where do you want to spend it? Where do you want to spend time creating every day? And I do. I love creating every day. And you don't need to create a song every day or even create something new every day, but stepping into that passion every day, stepping into it and engaging with it and saying, yeah, this is something I love. And a big thing for me, I think we could have an entire episode just on this subject, but a big thing for me as well is being able to create out of abundance. So when you realize that you are creating out of abundance, you're able to say to yourself, okay, I have tapped into infinite creativity, and this just never ends. And so the beauty of creating this and sharing this is that the more I do it, the more I am able to share my positive energies through it, share my experiences through it. And so I definitely feel that when creating, it's so important to create from abundance. So create from a position of abundance. And when I think about it, I say to myself, when I sit down and record a song, I say, I set the intention, I would like to create this song with the love and the high vibration and the healing that I put into the words, into the music, into the energy that is encoded through it. And so whilst it might not always be completely apparent through, the notes and the lyrics and the sound, the energy is captured because your energy is infinite, and you're taking this infinite creativity and blending it together and manifesting it in your creativity. And it's that energy that people feel. They don't always hear the words. For example, I'm terrible you know, identifying the actual words that are in a song. But yeah, I do hear and do feel like the sound waves and the energies that someone has put into their work, and I think that is super beautiful, because as you feel it, you feel what resonates with you, what lifts your heart, you know, what really helps you in that moment. And that is super magical. And I think that's the magic of creation, is that you're able to express your unique perspective of this universe and reflect it back to the rest of the universe, to every living thing. Okay, so that's energy. So we covered a bit about my songwriting, a bit about the energy itself when creating, and then I want to talk about perfection as well. And this, I must admit, this episode, if it is recording, which is fantastic, is a big challenge for me, and as demonstrated by the van that just drove past. So when I create, I often obsess. The musician in me, you know, the perfection in me, a perfectionist, should I say, in me, focuses on sound. You know, it's the sound at high quality, and the lots of background noises. What's annoying me? You know, what mistakes do I make? And I think that's the first thing to think about, is the philosophy of mistakes. And so mistakes are really, to me, it's like a judgment. It's like when I create my own mistakes, I judge myself and I say, that thing I just did was not correct. It is not in line with what I expected as an outcome. But the reality is, it is exactly what was intended at the time that you created. It's just unexpected, and sometimes it's a mispronunciation of a word, sometimes it's a mistake in a note, sometimes it's background noises. An easier thing to start with is to think about background noises. So as we're recording this and I'm listening to what's going on in the outside world, like, my focus is I hear so much more than I would if I was just normally walking and not recording this. So the cars to me sound so loud, and the birds very, very loud, and the wind, you know, it's almost like this orchestra, this crescendo of noise that is here, this energy that is here to stop me from the creation I'm trying to achieve. And the reality is, it's actually the universe happening around you. It's the universe that you created around you. And it is, if you listen carefully, so one thing I do is I often do my morning meditations of like 1 minute, and I record out my garden, and there's some birds there that are so noisy, and they love singing early in the morning when I'm recording. And it's so funny, because when I play them back, I realize there's a lot of synchronicity between what I'm saying and what the birds are saying. So I might be saying something like, you know, in the meditation, I might say something like, you really need, you know, focus today on expressing yourself. And then the birds like start singing so loud. It's so funny. And, or it might be, you know, you're down by a river or down by the sea, and you're talking about waves, or you're talking about sound or energy, and then the next thing you see is this, you know, big wave that comes past you, or you hear the sound of a wave, and it's really like the universe saying, yep, I hear you. That's what you're saying is resonating with the outside, and so the outside is really a reflection of what's going on inside. Okay, so mistakes as well are also a judgment of perfection, that somehow there is a perfect version, an alternative version of reality, where this mistake didn't happen. And so if I think about that when I record a song and I sing a word wrong, then I think, well, it's a mistake, because if I record the song again, I could say all the words correctly. Now, is that really true? You'd like to think so, but I write every day, and in my songs, I just go with what what comes through, and I do it all pretty fast, like about an hour. And so through that journey, I don't really have a lot of time to go back and correct things. You know, just the basics, like was the sound on, was my guitar plugged in. That's all I can really check for. The rest, I just go with it. I don't write down the lyrics. I just sing, improvise what I heard and felt through my meditation, and that is beautiful. So the other aspects of mistakes are the pursuit of perfection is really interesting for me. I have made thousands and thousands of mistakes, you know, often several mistakes in a song, and then I listen back to the song and the songs, and I realize they're like gifts, that every mistake, or what I perceive as a mistake, is more like a gift back from the universe saying, here's something going on in your environment, like bird song or traffic noise or something, you know, reminding me, but also, even more importantly, reminding the person that's listening. And you don't know who's going to listen or see your creation. And when they do, it can be as simple as inspiring someone to record a song with noisy traffic in the background, or record a podcast with noisy traffic, because it's so easy to just make an excuse and say, you know what, I can't do it today, it's too cold outside, or the traffic's too noisy. And it's also very tempting to try and control it. You know, I'm definitely a control freak, and so I often get up early and I try and avoid, you know, people and traffic noises and stuff like that, but it doesn't really make any difference, because these things just, you know, the world, the universe just keeps happening anyway. And a big part of the journey of creating every day and overcoming mistakes is that doing that, you really surrender to the process. You surrender to the infinite creativity of the universe, surrender to your infinite abundance to create and manifest these and feel these infinite energies and reflections. And as you do, you realize that when you truly surrender, when you truly let go of that control, you'll just explore anything. You'll explore anything, no matter how crazy it sounds. Like, I'm now walking on a road which has loads of cobbles, and they're very noisy. So yeah, that's good fun. And yeah, I think perfection for me is really no longer a journey I try and chase. I feel like true perfection, if it exists, is more aligned with surrender, is surrendering and being open to receive all of the different variations and kind of manifestations that happen around us in this universe and in ourselves and through us, and just letting them reflect into our creativity, whether we expected them or not, whether we like them or not, which is, these are just judgments. Mistakes and perfection and liking or not liking our own work is really just a judgment. And as we surrender more to the infinite creativity, we're able to release that judgment. And I'm definitely my own worst critic. One thing I found really useful is not listening back to all of my music. You know, I listen to the start, listen to the end, listen to parts, and then I just let it, release it out to the universe. You know, I post it on YouTube. My music's on all the music platforms. And then another aspect that's really important is to be able to do so without condition. And so when you create with the intention of, you know, raising vibrations or whatever your intentions that you set, what's beautiful about it is that you're able to say to yourself, look, I'm doing this unconditionally. You know, I'm not asking for money, I'm not asking for some, you know, number of followers or subscribers or views. And you never know who you're actually creating for. So the universe has a great way of making sure that everyone else that exists in this collective and in this universe will hear the right things for them at the right time. They'll hear the right song on the radio, they'll come across the right recommendation on a streaming or a video platform, and they'll resonate with it or not. And sometimes for people, you know, they don't need to hear the whole message. They just need to hear an introduction to a concept, or to see it. And I think that's super powerful, because when you do that, for example, me walking around town, the Scottish border town Kelso, early morning on a Sunday, lots of background noise, I think is really fascinating, because it really empowers me to think, well, I do loads of dog walks. I love going out, and I love sharing, I love creating, and for me it's a real joy to be able to take you with me. And as I go through this, I don't know who's going to listen to it. I'm just giving it out there to the universe. For me, it's just another way of expressing this infinite creativity, and that's a real honor. So yeah, as I surrender to explore new ways, that's also another tip and tool that I'm going to use more of, is just try different things. You know, try different ways of expressing yourself. My music has been the main aspect, but music has also branched out into lots of other areas. And you know, I never consider myself a dancer, or like a painter, or particularly good at drawing, but it's definitely things I like to explore more. So yeah, that's another thing you can try, is just going through these different ways of doing it. So yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to cover in this episode, and I hope that it's inspired you to think more about your creative process, to explore more about the way that you create, to help you surrender more. And I look forward to doing more of these. If you'd like to hear more, please do share. Let me know. You can find me most active on YouTube, but also Instagram. And even if you've just listened to this and it's helped you in some way, then please share a thought from me. Think of me in the energy that you create with Next, because I'm not in this for money or for followers or whatever the kind of 3D world measures. I'm in this to help the planet, to help raise the vibrations of this planet, and I do so unconditionally with my love. And so with this episode, I conclude it. I thank you so much for listening. I hope that it has finished recording successfully, and that this finds you well. And so I'm sending my love from Scotland.